Hello there. Today I've popped on to show you what I'm going to make, and I'm going to take you along with me so you can see how I did it. It's for my daughter's birthday, and she asked for a multi-strand ring. Now what I've done is I've made a prototype. Let's see if I put that behind it. Can you see it better? I've made a prototype in copper. You can still see the silver solder, but actually I don't mind that. It looks quite effective, to be fair. So that's it. I don't know whether you can see that. I'll try putting it on my finger as well. See if trouble is I've got rings on my finger. There we go. Let's see if you can see that. It's quite a pretty design, and I do have to say it's not as simple as it looks to do. So what I've done is I've made that out of 1.4 copper wire, and obviously it's a wide band, and everyone tells you to size up when you've got a wide band. Now that's a little bit easier said than done when your daughter, who's going to receive this as a gift for a birthday, actually lives in Canada. Now she has got a ring, it's a UK ring sizer, so I know what this is for her thumb. I know what size her thumb is because she's measured it on a video and sent it to me, so I've got that to go on. But people say to size up. Is that half a size or a full size? I don't really know, and I suppose it depends on the thickness of the wire and also the width of the ring itself. So there's a little bit of trial and error going on here, but it is very, very pretty. Let's see if I put it against my top. That's probably nice. Let's see if I can get it in a little bit closer. Put it against my top. There we go. That's quite a nice view of it. So this was made out of 1.4 copper. This was made out of 1.4 copper, and when I came to order the sterling silver from Cookson's, they only had 1.3 or 1.5, so I've not decided which I'm going to use yet, but I suspect 0.1 mil isn't going to make a lot of difference, I wouldn't think. Now this, you would expect it to be really soft and springy, and actually it's not. It's really, I'm really pressing on that. It's a really solid, and if I press that way as well, it's really solid. So I'm very pleased with it. So there it is on my finger. So let's get the silver out, and we'll see how we get on with it. So I'll see you in a minute. What I've done here is I've got the 1.5 sterling silver wire because it's nice. I like it. And I've wrapped it round on roughly on the size, the final size I'll need. But as you can see, it's because it's not soldered or anything, it's very springy, and there's plenty of room for manoeuvring that. So what I'm going to do is take that off there, and the first thing I'm going to do is file a flat piece under there and a corresponding flat piece there on both sides, and then I'll so that they've got some nice flat surface area to solder to. So I will get those in place, do the filing, and then we'll move on to the soldering. Okay, we're all set up here. What I've got here is a ceramic cone that I've put this ring on. When I did the copper one, for some reason, for obvious reasons, because copper doesn't conduct the heat the way that silver does, but I didn't have a problem just putting it on my block and soldering it in the normal way. But with silver, I did try one out and it didn't work because the silver slumped. If you haven't got it on this cone, the flame goes right through back to the other wire. I thought I'd got one here, but I haven't. the flame goes right the way through, and it's just too fierce. So a kind lady called Genevieve on one of my Facebook groups recommended this ceramic cone. Now it supports it, and it's just fabulous. So what I'm going to do, I've put my solder on here and some flux. What I'm going to do is heat all this up, and when it gets to flowing temperature, I'm going to, I've got my reverse action tweezers here. I'm going to clamp those together, because what I don't want is the solder running everywhere. So I've separated the two strands, and just as it gets to flowing, you'll see me put my tweezers on there and clamp them together until the solder has fixed them both together. Anyway, too much talking, let's get on. Okay, that's that one done. What I'm going to do is take that. Sometimes it sticks because of the flux, and you just have to wait for it to cool down. So what I'm going to do is do exactly the same on the other side. Then I'll quench it and pickle it, and I'll come back and show you once I've got to that stage. Okay, what I've done here is I've soldered both ends now, so it's a complete coil. It can't move from size or anything now. But what I've done is I want to do 2 solders on each ring, so to speak. I'll explain this as I go along. Now I'm calling that solder join there. Oh, sorry. I'm looking to do 2 solders on each row, but in different places. And now I'm calling that, I've done it again. I'm calling this where I've joined the top loose end, I'm calling that one solder, and directly opposite at the back, I've marked where I'd like the next solder. Now, I've just got my file, where have I put it? Over there. I've just got my little file, and I've flattened out in there so that they've got a little, it just gives a little bit more surface area to join those two. Otherwise, I found on the last silver one that I did, which wasn't actually that successful, they do ping apart if you haven't got this nice flat surface to solder onto. So it is worth taking the time to do, that. So I'm going to put that back on there. So we're going to do exactly the same now. We're going to get the tweezers, get the flux it. Well, what I'm going to do is separate that a little bit more so that I can get my tweezers in. That's it. So a little bit more, plenty of flux. I like a lot of flux. and then some solder in there. And that's quite a lot. I don't think we need anywhere near that much. Take some of that away. Won't normally pick up, you can guarantee when you don't want it to, it does. Anyway, I'll leave that there. So we'll just attach that to one side, and then I'm going to press them together with the tweezers as I did before. I do find that I can't think of any other way to do it. I've tried the binding wire, I just don't find anything works. So obviously do what suits you, but this is the easiest way for me, I've found. There we go, that's that one done as well. So same again, it's going to be very repetitive, this ring. Into the, oh, is it not stuck? Yeah, these do stuck. It's only the flux, it's because I put the flux on while it's on the cone. Into the quenching, into the pickle, and then I'll come back and show you the next stage. I probably won't do every stage with you because it's all going to be very samey, but that's only the first row. So I'll show you what I do on the next when I've done the pickling. Okay. Okay, so what we've got now, we've got our two ends soldered, and we've got one directly opposite that one soldered there. So what I want to do on the next line, so this will be on line 2 and 3, is I want to solder. So I've got a solder there and a solder there. I want to do on the next line a solder there and a solder there. So in effect, I've soldered east and west. I'm now on the next row going to solder north and south. So what I'm going to do is mark. So this is lines 2 and 3. I'm going to mark by eye. Doesn't have to be exact. In fact, it's probably nicer if it's a little bit more random, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to mark there, and I'm going to mark. Oh, that needs to be a little bit closer, I think. There, and I'm going to mark. Let me see. Where are we? There and there. I'm not really showing you this, am I? Where are we? So I'm going to show you. So just in case you didn't see any of that, because I'm not sure now, I've soldered, say, north and south. I'm now on row 2 and 3, going to solder east and west. So before I do that, I'm going to get my little file out again, and I'm going to solder. No, I'm not going to solder. I'm going to file between there and between the other one, wherever it is, there. And then I'll come back and we'll do the soldering. Here we go. Right, this I'm on, so I'm doing line 2 and 3 now. I've prepped it all. I've got the flux on, I've got the solder on, so I've got my handy tweezers ready. So let's go for it. There we go, that's that done. See? Whoops, which way do you want? There we go. Let's see if it's stuck. Yes, of course it's stuck. Okay, quench and pickle. It's getting a bit repetitive. I'll show you one more and then I'll do the rest off camera and come back. But seeing as we're still only on line 2 and 3, I'll show you what I'm going to do next. But pickle first. Here we go. I've put the flux and the solder on there, so that here's the top join where the 2 wires are connected together, so I'm going there. So this will be the second, whoops, where did I put those? This will be the second join on lines 2 and 3. You probably noticed that the flux actually sticks them together for a little bit, which helps in getting the flow, because I want to take these off because of the heat sink. And then just put them on right at the ends, I think. Having you. I'm a bit stubborn, this one. There we go. There's that one gone. Okay. Quench and pickle. Okay, here we go again. I'll not do any more of this on camera because, as I said before, it is very, very samey. But I'll just do this last one and then I'll continue in my own sweet little way. But going back to this cone, worth every penny. Can't remember how much it was actually. It was probably 16, 17, 18 pounds, somewhere around that. And you can buy replacement cones as well, if you need to. But best thing I've bought for a long time, I think. Love it. Oops. I'll hold it on. There we go, that's flowed. That's flowed. So I think I've only got a couple more left to do, 2 or 3. So that's it. Quench and pickle again. When I've done them all, I'll come back and show you. But yeah, really pleased with that. No mishaps. The cone has solved all the problems. Right, I'll come back to you later. Well, here we go. It's all finished. I've had a little file of the ends of the wires where it overlapped. I might file those down a little bit more, but they're not rough at all. I've made perfectly sure of that. They're not rough. But I think I can probably make those blend in a little bit more and make those look a bit tidier. And it needs a final polish. So there we go, all finished. Very pleased with it. And yeah, when it's all finished and had its polish and everything, I'll put a little picture at the end. But I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. Of course, before you get to polishing, you can widen your gaps or have some smaller, some larger. You can texture it with a hammer. At that stage, you can change this ring however you fancy it. You just need to get something quite slim in those gaps and twist it, and the gaps open up. Yeah, it's a really adaptable ring. I think it would probably look really nice if it was textured too. Anyway, that one's in the bag, so that's all done. Hope you enjoyed it.